Hello, everyone, and welcome back into the GSMC Fantasy Sports Podcast, brought to you as always by the GSMC Sports Network. Hope you all are enjoying the show thus far. We are now taking a quick respite from the world of NFL, and now we are transitioning a little bit into the world of college football. And what a weird and wacky Week 6 it was. A lot of different upsets, subsequently a lot of different player performances that I have to shout out. A lot in the earlier windows as well. A lot of interesting performances. And I want to kind of respect different players, maybe not those that you're familiar with, but some unsung heroes of this past weekend in college football that I want to go through. But I do have to, without, disregarding them, give my full respect to the Vanderbilt Commodores for that upset of number 1 Alabama. As Andre says, do you like Kelsey Yards? And we get another comment from Caesar Rangel. Welcome to the show, Caesar. I'm not sure we have seen you in this comments before. Andre says, do you like Kelsey Yards tonight? I personally don't. I think that Kelsey is someone who can occasionally make a big play now, but despite that big game last week against LA, I think that, he's not going to do that. I think that you're going to have to take the under here. I expect unsung heroes for the Chiefs to step up. And then, addressing Cesar, hey man, if you can help me with this 14-man redraft PPR trade, I would appreciate it. I get CD and Alexander Madison for Brian Robinson, Ramondre Stevenson, and Tank Dell. And he further said, my running backs are Jacobs, Cook, Robinson, Ramondre, and Charbonnet. My wide receivers are Drake London, Deontay Johnson, I believe, Devontae Adams, Tank Dell, and Ladd McConkey. That is a huge load to give up, but all the players there are kind of trending down. And not for nothing, Alexander Madison is a very underrated back. And you have the running back room depth to kind of account for a weak link, should Madison not live up to expectations. So, as Andre says, that's a highway robbery, take CD. I would agree with you. I would agree with Andre and take CD. And, since your running back room is so deep and your wide receiver room is so deep as well, and all the players in your wide receiver room are trending up or tend to trend up, then I would definitely do it, because this is a 3-player trade where you feel like you're losing more than you're getting, but you're taking a chance on an underrated player at a position group you're already well stacked in, and you're taking a kind of season-altering kind of receiver to bolster a receiver room that's really trending upwards. I love Drake London. I love Deontay Johnson. Devontae Adams, wherever he goes, is going to be someone who's going to get a lot of targets. Tank Dell could get a lot of targets. We don't know what's happening with Nico Collins in that Texans receiving room. And then Ladd McConkey, let's hope he continues to prove his mettle in a Chargers wide receiver room that might need him to really contend. So that's an interesting trade. Thank you for it, Cesar, and I hope you're enjoying the show. Good luck to you and your fantasy football exploits. Let's talk a little bit about college, because I want to talk a little bit about the craziness of what happened this weekend. Without further ado, let's jump right into some unsung heroes. Maybe not, players that really are well known, but players who kind of fit into this narrative of upset victories. So without further ado, let's jump right into, as Andre also says, thoughts on Olave at 60.5 yards and Shaheed at 49.5. I think that those two values for these players are, ones that I feel can hit, because Olave is still the wide receiver 1, and Shaheed is someone, as Cesar Rangel says, thanks for the advice, liked and subbed. Thanks to you, Cesar. Hope you enjoy all the content we have to offer here at GMC. Going back to Andre, though, I think that these are kind of applicable hits here. I feel like Olave, like I said, still the wide receiver 1, is going to get the targets. And Shaheed, I feel like he'll have 1 or 2 big plays that will make the difference in that bet. And so I'm not necessarily comfortable in saying that he will, have enough to potentially hit, but he's always something to gamble on a little bit. That's the whole point of this Saints team. You never know who could beat the game script, who could alter the game script for the Saints. Thank you for that comment, Andre, but I do have to get into my fantasy football stars of college. First one I want to talk about at the quarterback position. A lot I could have picked. I could have picked Diego Pavia for his gutsy performance against Alabama. I could have picked Cam Ward for his coming performance against Cal yet again. But this guy played on Friday night, a guy a lot of people might have forgotten about, even playing in college football right now. And that is Kyle McCord. We might have to skip a little bit to him. Kyle McCord, Syracuse Orange, an Ohio State transfer. Leaving Ohio State after passing Marvin Harrison Jr. and Ahmed Abuba last year, and really making a name for himself as a Syracuse Orange player. And he's someone who, against UNLV, wanted to see really make a name for himself and make people remember who he was in terms of his abilities at Ohio State. He wasn't just, a guy who threw to Marvin Harrison Jr. He's actually a very talented guy, and he proved it against UNLV, upsetting them in their first all-around top 25. 40 of 63, 53 yards, 3 touchdowns for Kyle McCord here. Now, the reason why I wanted to highlight him is because of the fact Syracuse has been a team that also has gotten on a lot of people's radars. I don't understand how people, don't see Syracuse as someone who can really defend the ACC, because the ACC is more wide open than people think. And going forward, I want to see more out of Kyle McCord against tougher opponents, but I also feel like this is an opportunity where things happen in college football that you can't necessarily account for, and one of them is having a guy fall into your lap like Kyle McCord at Syracuse and immediately vaulting you to success. And that's what he's continuing to do. So kudos to Kyle McCord. Another quarterback I wanted to discuss in another kind of situation, another contender in the ACC, Kevin Jennings of SMU Mustangs, usurping Louisville in the ACC. Big upset in that regard, making the ACC an even more competitive conference than it already is. 21-27, 281 yards, 0 touchdowns. And Kevin McCord is someone who Kevin Jennings is someone who I feel like people also don't know about, because he kind of stepped in for Preston Stone, from a 5-star recruit at SMU, taking over the reins there, and he really shocked a lot of people in this game. I think he had 28.8 fantasy points I have for him here, and he really proved the depth and experience you need in the ACC. And not for nothing, it helps that SMU is making this even more competitive, but at the same time, I feel like SMU is one of those teams that, again, also gets disregarded a little bit in the college football landscape. So therefore, I kind of feel like everything is, in their hands right now. They can make the difference in the ACC. So kudos to both of these players for making the ACC a deeper conference week in, week out. In the running back position, I feel like we have to look at two guys who are going to really make the CFP race interesting. Let's talk about Le'Veon Moss a little bit. Let's talk about Texas A&M as well. Le'Veon Moss, 12 carries, 138 yards, 3 TDs, and that huge dominant win over Mizzou. 36.3 fantasy points for him as well. And this is a huge difference maker for Texas A&M Aggies right here. Because with this win, it shows how they can truly connect to this world of the SEC. It shows how they can battle. It shows how they can kind of short and adapt to different situations and game plans. And having a guy like Le'Veon Moss, experienced junior, in your ranks of Texas A&M really makes you a tough out. And not for nothing, they're 4-1. I believe they're actually 3-0 in conference play right now. And they really are a threat to make the CFP. They have some big games coming up. They're playing Texas in the month of November. But this game proves that not only is Texas A&M a threat, but they have many different ways to attack it. And Le'Veon Moss is just one of them. You still have Conor Whitman. If you get all your receivers on the same page, they're dangerous as well. And you also have to consider the fact that they're only going to get better. If they stick with one quarterback, then the narrative will remain that Texas A&M can be a threat. And Conor Whitman has proved to be the guy. So Le'Veon Moss is someone who I truly appreciate and respect in this system. The last running back that I want to talk about is Jordan Jones of the Oregon Ducks, because he's also very pivotal to his team's CFP chances. 24 carries, 166 yards, 1 touchdown, and I believe 23.5 fantasy points for James. And the Oregon Ducks are a team that really need to also expand their horizons on the offensive side of football. Because if you're, Dan Lanning, and you look at what you've seen from this team, and you're going up against your toughest opponent yet against Ohio State next week, you have to find ways to really supplement this offense. I love Dillon Gabriel, but he made 2 big mistakes in this week's game. Next week, you have little to no margin to error against an Ohio State defense, like one of the best in the country, and an Ohio State offense that will be more than happy to get into a shootout with you, because they know they would win in that situation. So you have to find different pieces on your offense to really supplement that. Jordan James could be that guy. Very experienced in this offense, replacing Bucky Irving and Wingham in this offense. And I feel like, going forward, the Ducks have a game script where they could, shock certain people, certain teams, because of what they bring to the table. And that all stems from having a player like James who really change the narrative of what this team is. I know what you think in the comments, because this is an interesting situation. I think all 4 of these players I wanted to address, because, yes, I could have picked the upset heroes. I could have picked guys you might have heard of more. But at the end of the day, these 4 guys can really define the season in ways we might not have imagined before, might not have expected out of them thus far. So let me know what you think in the comments. We'll just about do it for this segment. Coming up next, I give you an update on the Heisman odds for this week. You definitely don't want to miss it, because it's very, very pivotal. Be right back after this quick break.